A Bernie Sanders staffer was caught on undercover camera saying that Trump voters should be sent to re-education camps. There's a reason Stalin had gulags, the staffer said. Gulags were meant for re-education. And then the staffer says, what do you think Bernie Sanders' free education thing is all about? This Bernie Sanders staffer threatened to light Milwaukee on fire if Bernie Sanders doesn't win the nomination. He says he's willing to go outside the law to silence people. He says if you say something that he doesn't like, you should, quote, expect an effing violent reaction, end quote. And then this Bernie Sanders staffer suggests that people who resist change should be shot like dissidents in communist Cuba. Take a look at this.
Guys like that, what are we going to do with them?
Gulag. Liberals get to fucking wall first.
What are we going to do with those people that resist the change? Because that's a big deal.
Well, I'll tell you what. In Cuba, what do they do to reactionaries?
They shot them on the beach.
Do you want to fight against the revolution? You're going to die for it.
Well, gosh, isn't that horrifying? But why are we surprised that a communist is acting like a communist? This is what communists do. They weaponize violence to impose their agenda. This nutcase in the video, he's just being honest about it. And to Democrats who are dismissing this video, if your first reaction to this is the video is selectively edited and you ignore what the staffer is saying, then you've got a major problem. There is no difference between a Democrat socialist like Bernie Sanders and a so-called regular old socialist. And this is what happens under socialism. Your reaction should be, why is Bernie Sanders silent about this? Now, I know there are even some conservatives that are saying that this guy's just a staffer. There are crazy staffers who work for any and every candidate, and I get that. But if Bernie Sanders disavows this staffer's violent communism, then why didn't Bernie Sanders say so? Forgive me if I don't assume that Bernie Sanders, who honeymooned in the Soviet Union while there were gulags, automatically rejects this. If this staffer is a bad apple on Bernie's campaign, then fire him and tell people, obviously, he doesn't represent the candidate's views. But Bernie Sanders has refused to condemn this guy publicly. It's also hard to disassociate the radical communist rhetoric of this staffer from Bernie Sanders because the staffer was articulating the inevitable manifestation of the policies Bernie Sanders supports. Bernie supports socialism. Bernie is on video praising communist regimes. We all know the Green New Deal will usher socialism into our nation. Bernie says he is a socialist. And socialist policies always, in the history of our world, lead to oppression, poverty, violence, and death. The staffer was simply being honest about it. And that should scare everybody.